my van just is constantly filling up with these snack wrappers and like various snack detritus. And I get so mad, and I'll just start screaming about people and their snacks, and I'll throw all this, and sometimes I'll like just go through and just throw everybody's snacks away, and then they'll be so mad at me. They'll be like, "You threw all our snacks away." I can't be around all these wrappers and the crinkly wrapper snack noise.
Welcome to the Snack Show with Jami Fallon.
We're just a couple gals snacking our way through life and talking about it.
This is your first time in a podcast studio?
I just laid the snack down is what I'm saying. Jami, why in the HE double pretzel sticks did we start a podcast?
That's a great question that I don't remember the answer to.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Snack Show.
Wow, Fallon came with strong game show energy today
really did.
on the podcast. It's
listening.
Friday, and we're ready to party.
We are ready. I'm just so excited about our guests. We don't get guests too often. I mean, we've had guests recently, but I'm very excited for today's guest because we have a texting relationship, but I've never really actually met him, and I'm so excited to finally have a full-on conversation with our friend
Tyson Motsenbocker.
Yes.
Tyson is a singer, songwriter, storyteller,
Author.
surfer, and tiki drink connoisseur.
Tiki bar aficionado.
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go. So today on the
I mean,
podcast,
I just made that up just now.
Oh, we loved it. It sounded so official. So today on the podcast, we are talking
Tiki drinks snacks.
You just did that on purpose. You did that on purpose. So we will say, caveat to the parents listening, maybe not a kid-friendly episode.
There are some family-friendly tiki spots I know where you can get a mocktail.
Oh, that's true.
So we're just getting the adults prepped for
Yes.
summer here at the Snack
Yes,
Show.
this is just adult focus, but if you're okay with your kids listening in, your kid's your choice. Okay, Tyson, first question for you. Why are you a tiki drink connoisseur? Tell us the history of how you got in to such a field.
I like tiki drinks a lot, but I'm way more excited about like tiki as a cultural phenomenon and as a thing.
Oh, that's a great
So-
place to start. Will you educate us?
Yeah. Well, so the gist of it, probably people would know tiki from like, you got your little tiki guys, your little tiki gods that are carved out of wood, and you've got your Mai Tais, and like, if you've been to Disneyland, they have like the tiki room there.
Like Polynesian culture kind of thing.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's definitely rooted in that. But it's I mean, how do you guys want to go deep right away into what I like about this? Why
Yeah,
it's so
tell us
interesting?
everything.
Okay.
Take us right in.
Well, the first thing I should say is that we should mention that it can be really dangerous for your ankles.
For those that don't know, I used to manage Tyson, and I went out as a tour manager on a few dates that he was playing, like a run of shows. And the first night we were in Chicago, and we were like, let's go to a tiki bar after he played. And so we did, and just walking on the sidewalk, I'd had a drink. I was very well with my faculties. But just because I'm me, I was walking, and on a curb, my ankle went out, and I busted my right ankle and my left knee. And so for the rest of the run, I would hobble along and help him do whatever needed to be done. And then while he played his set, I would go lay in the van with my legs elevated because they hurt so bad.
Oh, my word.
And to be honest, my knee is still not 100%, and that was 5 years ago. So tiki drinks are a long-lasting relationship for the rest of my life. I will always think of tiki drinks. So
I feel so bad about that, and I remember it so vividly. And I remember you being like, maybe like you sort of just like fell like on the sidewalk.
I did.
And I was like, oh wow, Jami fell on the sidewalk, and then, but I didn't think it was like a serious thing. Like I was like, oh, she's fine. And then, but
Because I popped
now
back up
it's
and was
many
like,
years
I'm
later,
fine.
you're-
I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then as we got out we had to drive like another hour and a half to where we were going to stay. And we get to, I was like, I have to go into a Walmart because I need like ice. I need some things. And I had to ride the scooter around Walmart because I couldn't drive.
Sure.
There's also more to this story, which is that like I had worked out for this tour. I don't remember, originally you weren't going to come out.
No, I wasn't.
And
Some
we had an
friend-
opening and you popped in.
Yeah, some friend couldn't go out with you last minute. And so I just like decided 48 hours before this to go be the person to be out on this. So
Yeah, and the plan that I had for this tour was it was like a support tour, and so there wasn't a lot of money coming in. So I was like, I'm just gonna. I used to have bunk beds in my tour van, so I was like, I'm just gonna sleep in my tour van. And so Jamie had, first of all, was a giant champ that she agreed to sleep in the bunk beds in the tour van, and then also, so we're like sleeping in like Walmart parking lots, and
Safe.
Yeah.
yeah,
In
and
bunk
Jamie
beds
has
in a 15 passenger van.
and Jamie's knee is all jacked up. She's like trying to crawl in and out of this
I
in
would have
Walmart
to
parking
I
lots.
plank and rolled in and out of the bunk.
It
I'd
was
have to
really
plank
impressive
and
stuff.
rolling because I couldn't put any pressure on my knees. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Okay.
So that's one just funny thing, but the reason why, okay, so the I'll start here. There's this book called Revolutionary Road,
The one that was made
by a
into a
guy.
movie?
Yep. So it was a Leonardo DiCaprio movie later,
Excellent movie.
and it's so good. It's the guy that wrote is named Richard Yates, and it's this book that sort of chronicles like the beginning of what we know to be America now, which is like right after World War II and everything changed. And it's actually a really great place to start with Tiki because basically Revolutionary Road is everyone having all of their dreams come true in real time. It's like the first time in history where everybody got everything that they wanted at once.
Huh.
So basically everybody came home from war. The economy boomed. The invention of the personal appliance happened. So like dishwashers and lawnmowers and the microwave and the television and radio and all this stuff happened. And so basically people used to spend hours and hours and hours a week like just doing these menial tasks, and those tasks went away, and so people had a lot of spare time. And then suburbanization happened, so everybody moved out into the suburbs and bought these houses with grass and the American dream and everything. Everybody got everything that they wanted at once. And then like right around so sometime in the 30s there, really this kind of starts to kick into gear hardcore like in the 50s and stuff. But these GIs that had been at war, who had like really intense PTSD from being in World War II in the South Pacific, specifically this relates to the people that were in the South Pacific, they start to like, there's this enormous like meaninglessness in getting everything that you want at once. And these GIs start fantasizing about going back to war. So they all start pretending like they all like, basically they're like, because they're like, they start to romanticize their time at war in the South Pacific and fighting for their country and having this meaning and purpose and this camaraderie with their fellow soldiers, instead of like this sort of lonely isolation of the suburbs and like kind of these menial daily tasks or whatever. And so they start to, this is like a really interesting movement or thing that happens culturally in America in general. It's actually like what, the beatniks come out of this, which leads to hippies, which leads to like everything that we know to be countercultural. So it's a really interesting time in American history in general. And Tiki is one of the first little things that we see bloom out of this like countercultural movement, or this like basically dissatisfaction with modern life, and getting everything that you wanted all at once. So basically these GIs started to fantasize about going back to war, and these Tiki bars started to pop up. The first one is called Don the Beachcomber, which is where I think that's where they invented the Mai Tai. And it's basically not real. Like, it's not a real thing. It's not Polynesian. It's not Hawaiian. It's not, it's not Fijian or anything like that, or Samoan. It's just like this amalgamation of all this fantasized idea of what the South Pacific is. So it's actually like deeply American. It's like totally appropriating the idea of sort of what they thought life would be like to live on an island in the South Pacific or whatever in like peacetime. And so the music that comes out of it's really interesting. There's this music called Exotica that I love. This guy named Martin Denny started that, and it's like weird jazz that has like birds in it and stuff. But it's not actually Polynesian. It's not Hawaiian. It's American, and it's built out of this like incredible dissatisfaction with like post-war life and actually like PTSD and stuff. And so I love it so much because it's this imagination that is like sprouted out of basically people being dissatisfied with modernity. And so I think that's why I like it so much, because it's just Disneyland. It's imagination, and it's like anything can happen. It's not real. So that's what's cool about it.
I am fascinated.
It makes so much more sense why I love it so much.
Yes. I mean, I did my research and I read about that first tiki bar in California, the Don Beach one.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I did not know the deep history about it. And I am fascinated. That is incredible.
It is. I mean, I love Disneyland, so it's not surprising that I like tiki culture.
Yes.
Did you do research on the guy that is Don the Beachcomber? Because I did. And
no, I didn't do
okay.
any
So
deeper.
you may already know this, Tyson, that he's actually from Texas, and his name was Ernest Raymond Beaumont Gant. No
Okay.
R.
Yeah.
And he moved to Hollywood during the Prohibition and was a bootlegger, and that's how he got into like the alcohol thing,
Right.
and then changed his name to Don Beach so that he could open Don the Beachcomber.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so fascinating that it was like this guy from Texas who just kind of like had gotten into the like moonshine essentially, and then kind of created this whole thing after going to the South Pacific during the war.
Right.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this bar still around?
Not the original one.
There's been a really weird, I have actually, I'll share this with you guys, but I have a map of all the tiki bars and the original ones.
Amazing.
That's really cool. I think so you said the original one's gone.
So
There's been a few there's been a big mix up in the past few years.
Totally. Well,
with
what
some
I
of these.
read was the original Don the Beachcomber was actually in Hollywood, kind of near Hollywood and Highland,
That's
where
what I
like
read.
Chinese theater is and all the like
Yeah.
stars and footprints for people who've been to Hollywood. But the Don the Beachcomber that like exists like with the signage is in Huntington Beach. But that was
Right, okay.
but that was a franchise. Like somebody else opened it and asked if they could use the name Don the Beachcomber, but it's not the original location.
So there's this place that I think might have been the original Don the Beachcomber. It's called the South Seas. I think that's the one you're talking about, which might have been like Don the Beachcomber South Seas or something. But
Okay.
that place was crazy. They bulldozed it, and it's beautiful. There's actually a new tiki bar called the South Seas right next to where that one was, that I haven't been to yet, but I want to go. And it was
it's
this
so cool.
crazy jungle. Yeah, have you seen this one?
We're
I'm
looking
just looking
at
at
it.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the original South Seas, and it was pay what you want was the rule. Like you could just go and just pay whatever you wanted. So it was like this thing where, it's all really into this like fake nostalgia of like some sort of utopia that is outside of what modern life is. But the original South Seas is so cool.
Okay.
It's the pictures of it are amazing. Yeah.
So, because you know this so well, one, I want to know some of your top, because you've been to a lot. What are your favorite tiki locations? Because some I feel like have recreated it really well, and some have not. And then I would love to know a few so we can give our snackers some snacks, some of your favorite original drinks.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay.
This is great. Some of my favorites. So the original ones that are still around.
Tell me what
one-
original
go ahead.
means, because they're not all created by the same guy, right? They were just those ones that
No.
were made in the 50s. Is that what you mean by original?
Yeah, the one because they actually almost all closed. Like it became the campiness of it was extremely out of vogue in even like as early as the 70s. But by the 90s, this was like the lamest thing that in pop culture that anyone could think of. So most of them closed.
Interesting.
There was a whole bunch of them, and then some of the very first ones, like I think Don the Beachcomber might have just closed.
I feel like I've heard of a few that have closed during the pandemic too. Like Lost Lake is the one in Chicago that we were at when I had my air quote incident, and it is closed recently.
Sad.
Oh, it did close.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
I think they're pretty expensive to run.
because of the alcohol cost.
I think that partly that, and also I think just the way that like there's so much like some of these. The one that I'm thinking about, like the Tonga Room, which is in San Francisco. It has like a full on like swimming pool type situation in it. There's like lots of water features and there's like fake stars, and it's like it's the set. It's like set design.
Yeah.
So the visuals of it are just as important as that arguably that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
that
for
there
sure.
is in a tiki
Those
bar.
ones are
And
of my favorites when it's the right experience that you walk into.
Sure, absolutely.
Mhm.
Now, when I was looking up, because I know nothing besides like the Paloma, really.
Or a Mai Tai.
is the one thing I think of because it's my favorite. So I looked up what a typical tiki drink is, or the definition,
Uh-huh.
and Tyson, you tell me if this is right. It said it's either a light or dark rum, flavored syrup, fruit juices, or other mixers.
Yeah, it's extremely sugary. Like it's very sweet
Sugar.
forward.
Also, no
Monsters
surprise
here.
why this was my topic that I brought to the snack show.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're all on the same page. Great.
Hmm. Yeah, and there's like sort of like the there's like the really iconic original drinks, like the Mai Tai is obviously the most famous one. It's sort of funny because people think of a Mai Tai as being a Hawaiian drink, and there's like this famous thing that happens where people go to Hawaii and they order, especially like after the Mai Tai was invented, they would go to Hawaii and order Mai Tais, and then nobody in Hawaii would know what they were talking about because it wasn't
Hilarious.
Hawaiian.
Do you know all
Yeah.
of the what's in a Mai Tai?
I used to make them. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Right
Read it
now.
to us,
Also,
James.
it's
I
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
looked it up. It says white rum, fresh lime, orange curaçao. I never say that right.
Curacao?
Thank you,
curacao.
curacao.
Yeah.
There is some dark rum as well, and then a syrup, Orgeat. That's what the internet's telling me.
Hmm.
Sounds like it checked all the boxes of our list.
Yeah.
There's some other things that are like pretty
Oh,
classic.
this
go ahead.
syrup is like an almond flavor. It says a nuanced almond syrup.
Mhm. There's a like bitters is part of it. Like the mix of rums is really important. There's this thing called falernum.
Oh, I read about
Um,
that in some of the recipes I was looking at.
Is that what is
Yeah.
it?
It's like a liqueur. It's
liqueur.
it's in a lot of tiki drinks. Falernum is, and then like grenadine and
Mm.
Pernod. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And then they have like honey and sugar and lots of different juices like orange juice and coconut. Like there would be like, it's basically just like everything that you would think of as existing on a tropical island.
Okay, snackers, in case you missed our recap on our last episode, we recently took a Circle DNA test, and our results are in, and it is so fun to read through them.
So fascinating.
We went through our diet and nutrition results last week, so this week we're going to share our sports and fitness reports. Jamie, let's hear it.
Okay, so my workout routine is typically a little more high intensity, like fast running, high weights, but it turns out that what works best for my genetics is a routine that focuses on low power, high endurance, and low strength. So that's like triathlons, distance running, and hiking.
Yes.
And I am not a runner. And so this is very fascinating on how I figure out how to do this. So I'm thinking hiking and trail running is going to be my new jam.
That's a great idea. By the way, Jamie, you also need to be careful because remember, it said you have a higher risk of Achilles tendon injury and exercise-associated muscle cramps. So let's watch.
It's true. It's true. My calves are so bad.
Meanwhile, I should be doing more medium power, medium endurance, and medium strength workouts. Listen to that trifecta of medium work. So that means basketball, football, table tennis, all the sports, which is hilarious because I didn't make any sports teams in high school. But did I also mention that I'm gifted musically? Just putting that out there.
Oh my gosh, it has nothing to do with sports and or fitness. Okay, so if you want to learn about your fitness routine and what you should be following, join us in the Circle DNA journey. You can get your own Circle DNA Premium for 33% off using the code SNACK on their website. The link is in the show notes and or in the bio on our Instagram.
Okay, can you give us a couple more of the like?
Yeah, give us
classic
the
besides Mai
OG
Tais?
drinks.
Yeah, so I'll tell you some of my favorites. There's a whole bunch of them. I love Mai Tais, obviously. My favorite tiki drink is called the Junglebird, which has it has Campari in it, which is weird. Like Campari is what's in a Negroni.
Yes.
It's really kind of bitter. That one's really good. Obviously, there's one called the Painkiller, which is like coconutty.
Oh,
and that one's
yeah,
really
I've had
nice.
that before.
That's at Chopper.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally. And then there's of course like the Pina Colada and
Were pina coladas invented from
stuff like that.
tiki places?
I don't associate a Pina Colada so much with like tiki, but it is.
That's what I
It
was
feels
gonna
like it's
say.
very much. Yeah. There's one called the Zombie that's really good. That one's like extremely boozy. The two ones to like stay away from if you're like at all affected by alcohol is the Zombie, and then there's one called the Navy Grog, and the Navy Grog is like 6 drinks in one. If you drink it, you're like in
Ooh.
bad shape. Yeah.
Mhm.
Depending on who makes it. Also, a lot of these drinks are It's a little bit like the Coca-Cola recipe situation where like every bar has their own twist on it, and
Got it.
they won't tell you exactly what's in it because it's a secret.
Interesting.
Oh.
Hmm.
Okay, so Tyson, I'm a huge Mezcal fan. Are there
Hmm.
any tiki drinks that use Mezcal that you would recommend?
That's a great question. So you asked about my favorite tiki bars. There's one. So uh, the answer is yes. There's a few that do. I think historically mezcal wouldn't be in a
Sure.
tiki drink because it's like smoky and
Sure.
tequila instead of rum, or it's tequila family or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, there's like where I live here, a lot of tiki originated in Southern California, and Southern California is right next to Mexico, and so there I think because of that a lot of these tiki drinks have popped up that have tequila and stuff in them. But historically, no, but I think there's a bunch of really great ones now.
Love it. I have been to False Idol in
Hmm.
San Diego.
That was the one I was going to bring up. Yeah, that one's great.
Is
Yes.
False Idol the one where when you go to the bathroom, they read their 1-star reviews in the hallway?
I don't
Yeah, in a
remember
really
that.
snarky voice.
Yeah. Is that location?
Yeah, it'll be
Okay.
like, we came here because we saw it on a review and there was no ketchup. Are you kidding me? 1 star.
How did I
Somebody,
miss this?
if you walk out, it's a hallway. It's like a bright hallway, and there's like banana leaf wallpaper, if I remember correctly.
Uh-huh.
And in the overhead speaker, it's somebody reading their 1-star reviews.
That is hilarious. I have to go back. I'm
Yeah.
going this summer, so I'll make sure to go for sure.
It's fun.
That's
Yeah, I was
amazing.
going to say, so on the tiki bar side of things,
Mhm.
there's like some rules that you're supposed to follow for it to be like really a kind of classic tiki
Okay.
bar. And a lot of it is the music. So it has to be kind of this weird jazz infused, like exotica music.
Okay.
But I think there's only like 10 records of that. So I think people get really tired of listening to it. So like, for instance, False Idol it's sort of like a new tiki bar. And
It's
great.
in San Diego, just for those listening that don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm. And it's awesome, but it's they like they'll do stuff where they play like Jimmy Buffett every once in a while, or like they'll bring out like something that still feels kind of Hawaiian, but it's not the actual proper music that you're supposed to play. So there's little things that people sort of twist around. But according to this thing that I just read, the oldest one still operating is in the Bay Area. So there's yeah, let's see here. I've been to this one. I forget.
Is that not the Tonga room?
I don't think it's the Tonga room. It is the Tonga room. That's right. It's in San Francisco. And then there's also a couple others that are in that same vein. Yeah, the Tonga room is the one that has like the big swimming pool in the middle of it or whatever, the big water feature.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks like there's a boat in the middle, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a covered thing. Yeah, so that one's the longest running one, and that one's from 1945. And then the others are all like later. They're all like late 50s, early 60s. There's one called Tiki Ti in LA that's really fun because it's like tiny.
Okay.
It's like this tiny little room, and it's like the house from Up, because around it, literally built around this tiny little hut, is the World Scientology headquarters.
Oh my gosh.
It's literally like they built the Scientology headquarters around one of these original tiki bars. So that place is fun to go to because it's like sheer walls on every side. That's the Scientology building, which is just amazing.
That's amazing. Tyson, have you been to Nashville's? Well, I'll do air quotes tiki bars because I don't know how official they are based on what you just shared, but like Chopper, Pearl Diver.
Mm-hmm.
I actually took
I've been to them both. I think
I took Tyson to Pearl Diver
Okay.
one time when he was in town.
I think I went to, did I go to both of those with you, Jamie? I know I've been to Chopper.
I don't remember
as
if we.
well.
I know we went to Pearl Diver. I don't know if we went to Chopper, but yeah, it's right over down the street. They're by the same.
Curious
place.
if you had a fave out of our Nashville ones that you would recommend people to go to.
Chopper has a bunch of robots or something in it, right?
Uh-huh, yep.
Correct.
Yeah. I liked. Okay, this is my thought on like kind of new wave tiki bars in general. Is that like my main thing? I'm not like going to be snobby about it at all. I just want to feel like when I walk in there, I want to feel like I was transported into someone's like really campy imagination.
Sure.
I want to feel like you're trying to make me feel like I'm in a,
in Gilligan's Island.
Tropical. Yeah, exactly. And if someone's trying to do that, I don't really care like how official or whatever it is. And I felt like Pearl Diver did that that pretty good. They had
Yeah,
really good drinks at
they'll play
Pomada
like
too.
black and white film, like just the screen of it, not the sound. Like old
Hmm.
beach movies up on the wall.
Mhm.
It feels very kind of tropical.
Also, you know what helps
Hmm.
is if you dress up
Oh, yes.
very tiki like. We had a friend that had her birthday there, and so I dressed up as a cruise director.
Well, it
Hmm.
was it wasn't the theme was tiki. It was something like something else.
It was like
'cause-
it was like cruising.
Yeah, I dressed up like a senior citizen who was headed out on a cruise for the week. It was a real good look.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, we did have a lot of like Hawaiian shirts.
We
and
did.
leis,
We did. We
and
did.
It was a good time.
Okay, some other ones that feel authentic. Would you put 3 dots and a
Mhm.
dash in Chicago in that list?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I always so there's a drink called the Three Dots and a Dash, which is one of the kind of like canonical tiki drinks, and I think that did we go to that one together, Jamie,
Yes.
in Chicago?
Yeah.
That one I don't know if it's officially like I think that might have been one that they moved over, but that's a great bar. That place is awesome. It's like you go downstairs and a lot of these tiki bars too, they'll have like fake secret entrances and like
Yeah.
sometimes you'll like go through a phone booth or something like that and then
Oh,
you'll be
like
it's like
speakeasy.
kind of yeah, but like really campy version of speakeasy.
I
Like you're supposed to
like
like even false idol you used to go through the like the refrigerator for
That's
the
what I
restaurant.
did. Is it not that way
Right.
anymore?
Yeah, I think they might have like some health code issues
Oh.
with that, but yeah, you used to
3
like
dots.
actually walk through it.
Yeah, 3
Mhm.
dots and a dash. You go in an alleyway behind the office buildings, and there's like a tiki torch, and that's your guiding
Mhm.
light to go into the door,
Yeah.
down into the basement, into the bar.
Very cool.
Yeah, exactly.
For people who would like to try tiki and would like to do it in family style, I can recommend Trader Sam's at Disneyland Hotel.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
It's like Disneyland meets tiki because it feels like a tiki bar, but you can bring your family in there and anyone can eat. But it also has like the Disney twist. Like up above the bar, it looks like a giant ship in a bottle. But at certain times, the like a storm will come and the ship will move. So it's got like all the Disney bells and whistles,
Yeah, the
magic.
magic.
But it's got a lot of the original tiki drinks on the menu too.
Yeah. That's great.
So that's a
We also have
family
to
family one if you want to, do an experience with everybody.
totally. There's a few other like ones you have to mention, like Trader Vic's. A lot of these are Bay Area ones. Trader Vic's is a Bay Area one. And then,
Trader Vic's used to be in Southern California too. I went to the one in Beverly Hills when I was in college. But it's like a OG, like wasn't it in the 50s too? I feel like it was
Mhm.
the one that partnered with the Hilton hotels.
yeah, that sounds right. Some of these, like, I mean, yeah, we could get really deep into it, but some of these are like really, really old. I don't even know if I've actually never been to Trader Vic's. That's one that I
Oh,
would be
wow.
in trouble by the serious tiki people for missing. There's a tiki convention in San Diego.
No.
That's,
There is?
Yeah, it's a huge deal. It's like every year it's in Hotel Circle and like people from all over the world come in and like I mean it's a huge subculture. Like
Have you
people
ever
are
been to
really,
it?
really into it. I've never like been to the actual convention, but I've been down there when it's happening and it's really fun. I have a friend who builds like tiki lamps and little tiki gods and stuff, and he's the one that really got me into it. And I feel like I am a charlatan because there are people that this is like their whole life. Like they build tiki bars in their houses and they like dress up and they go to the convention and they only watch like old tiki movies and listen to exotica music. And it's like it's a huge it's like
It's a
people that love Disney.
culture. It's a whole
Yeah,
culture.
it's absolutely a culture. Yeah, it's a very real thing. Yeah.
Okay, I just looked up Trader Vic's because I had never heard of it before. Excuse me, but it's a worldwide.
Yeah,
thing.
I think it is the one
Mm.
that's partnered with Hilton Hotels. So I know there's one in London and I think there's one in Tokyo.
I mean, there's
Where
one
else?
in Dubai, Jordan, Oman, Germany, Thailand,
Wow.
England,
Wow.
Japan, Qatar.
hmm
I mean, we got
I think
a lot to choose
when
from.
it comes, yeah, I think when it comes to like how these bars changed and moved and stuff, I'm definitely out of my depth. But that's awesome. The other thing I was gonna say that's really fun about this is that it used to be that like there's these mugs, right? These like your drinks will come in a ceramic mug that's
Yeah.
like shaped like a little tiki guy. And it used to be that, and still some places you can do this, but like all the tiki bars with different drinks, you would get to keep these mugs. And so it became like this collector thing where like even now, like I think a vintage, Mai Tai from Dawn the Beachcomber like mug is probably like worth a lot of money. Like it's a collector's item thing.
Right, that totally makes sense.
I just think the 1950s were such a cool time. And I'm wondering, now that I say this, my grandfather owned 2 bars in LA in the 50s. Neither of them
Oh,
were a
yeah.
tiki bar, but it was that whole culture. Like one of his was all like plane, like airplanes.
Mhm.
And so it was just like such a, again, like collector's cups and things
Yeah.
like that.
That is so cool.
If I could travel back in time, I think it would be to the 1950s.
I think so too. It's a good spot. Okay, Tyson, I have a question for you. If we have a listener
Mhm.
that has never had a tiki drink before, has never been part of the tiki experience, what would you tell them to get for their first tiki drink experience?
I think that the best thing to do would be to find a cool tiki bar and to talk to the bartender, because
Okay.
the tiki bar thing is, it's not like, at least it shouldn't be most of the time. It's not like this like kind of fast bar culture where it's like, just tell me what you need. It's
Sure.
actually like people they want to like kind of talk to you about their drinks and stuff.
Okay.
And so probably like if you have a drink that you love, like that's actually how I found the Junglebird, was that I like Negronis. And so I asked the bartender, I was like, hey, what's something that's like a Negroni? She's like, well, the Junglebird is a tiki drink with Campari in it, which kind of has that like bitter thing. And
Uh-huh.
so I think I would just like bring whatever other normal world cocktails that you like to the bartenders there, and they'll be just thrilled to help you out.
Gosh, that is great advice. I love it.
Do you have any other tiki bars, since you are a touring musician and you've been in so many places? Are there any that aren't on the West Coast besides Chicago that you would recommend?
There's one, I have to actually look it up. Here it is. There's one in Tulsa, Oklahoma that we always go to. It's called the Saturn Room,
Okay.
and it's the like basically like there's like 3 rooms that you would ever play in Tulsa. There's the Canes, and then there's the big theater, and then there's the little club, and they're like a little triangle, and then directly in the middle of the triangle is the Saturn Room. And so it doesn't matter like where you play in Tulsa, you always end up at the Saturn Room. We've finished a bunch of tours there, and that's like where you always celebrate. So that place is it's not like a super proper old school tiki bar, but it's really fun, and the drinks are great.
I love it.
So that's a place that we always went.
That's amazing.
Very cool.
Well, Fal, as the non-tiki person, do you feel like you've learned a lot today?
The story alone of how tiki culture came about is so fascinating to me. I can't wait to tell everyone I know, because I think it's just the coolest knowledge. So thank you so much for bringing that. I also think we need to take a trip to Pearl Diver.
Okay, great.
Chopper.
Okay, great. Let's just do
Maybe we need to go to Tulsa and do the Saturn Room.
Yeah, maybe we do. Getting a road
Yeah.
trip.
I will say that historically, the best tiki bars by far are in Southern California,
Okay.
or in the Bay Area, either in
Well, just
LA
along
or
the coast, they kind of it's the
Yeah.
Pacific Ocean. I get it.
There's some good
So do
ones
they.
in there's some good ones in Palm Springs too, actually,
Okay.
I was
because that's
there.
like a big mid-century thing. So they've got like
Yeah.
a couple left there that are really
Tiki
fun.
bars and the Golden Girls, that just feels what all of Palm Springs would be for me.
Mm-hmm. It feels
Yeah.
right. Tyson, if you wouldn't mind staying with us a couple minutes longer, because we're dying to know what your snack of the week is.
I love this. I love this podcast that you guys started so much. It just
Do you
It's
know
like-
that the snack of the week music is Jordy Searcy made it for us?
is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, he made a song?
Yeah, I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
hey, can you make me a jingle that says, and it's just like a guitar riff and then him going, snack, snack, snack. And
There's
I've asked
no
him
one
about
who's
it,
ever
and
been
he
better.
said, I don't remember he made it in his van. He had a van that was outfitted with his studio,
Yeah.
and he's like, I don't know. I don't remember what it is. I made it, but I'm happy you like it.
People love it.
They
no
do.
one has ever been better suited to make a snack theme song than Jordy.
Yeah.
It's
100%,
perfect.
Perfect.
100%.
It's perfect.
Okay, so as our
Snacks, man.
guest,
Oh, that's
what is
Mhm.
your snack of the week?
okay. So I have to confess something to you guys,
Oh,
Sure.
gosh.
which is that my band is extremely snacky.
I don't know that that's
they
a
love snacks.
confession, but okay.
No.
He's
I've
about to
more to
confess
say though,
something
and
personally.
this is personal.
Oh, okay.
And I have become something of a snack terrorist because
What? Wait, this conversation is really taking a turn.
Yeah,
I know.
can you define
I'm
what
gonna
a
tell you
snack
that I
terrorist
like.
is?
I'm going to tell you that I like snacks too in a second. But
Okay.
this is my legacy of snacks,
Okay.
and that's that because specifically my keyboard player Matthew Wright, who is a delightful person,
He is. Can confirm.
except that he kind of has a like a nemesis relationship with Jamie. But
he
that's
has a
different story.
nemesis relationship
So-
with no one except for me. So
It's true. It's very weird. But he will spend approximately 20 minutes in every single gas station picking his snacks out. Like, I'm not kidding. I've spent hours and hours and hours of my life waiting in the van for Matt to finish picking out his snack regimen.
Uh-huh.
And then, and then everyone in my band likes snacks. So, and I am like a meticulously orderly person, especially on tour. It was particularly on tour because it's chaos.
Mhm.
And so my van just is constantly filling up with these snack wrappers and like various snack detritus. And I get so mad and I'll just start screaming about people and their snacks. And I'll throw all this, and sometimes I'll like just go through and just throw everybody's snacks away. And then they'll be so mad at me. They'll be like, you threw all our snacks away. I can't be around all these wrappers and the crinkly wrapper snack noise.
Have you tried to and maybe you did this, but I think having a snack bag where it's like all the snack trash goes in this one big compartment in the van, that you say, hey, you're allowed to have those snacks, but if that wrapper doesn't make it into the snack trash can, it's going.
You're going out with the trash too, my guy.
I think I need to hire you guys as snack consultants before our next tour. Just
happy to.
Yeah, happy to.
Guys, listen, if you guys are going to continue with the snacking habits that you have developed,
we'll print out some rules, we'll laminate it,
guidelines.
And we'll put it up on the back of the passenger front seat so that there's a set of rules that you have to follow when you're in the van.
We also include a
That's
link
what
to
we
our
need.
podcast.
Yeah. You have to listen to the pod. There's a certain amount of hours you have to listen to our podcast in the van as well, but it's like a win-win.
That's great. I love it. I really like Cheez-Its.
Yes,
I will
he came back around.
I
thought we lost him, but he's back around.
OG Cheez-Its, extra toasty Cheez-Its, reduced fat Cheez-Its.
Well, interesting you might mention that because Matt introduced me to the snack captain of my world. He introduced me to the extra toasty Cheez-Its.
Thank you. That's a win for Team Fallon. Thank you very much. Extra toasty.
You don't like those?
No, I love them.
You don't like those, Jamie?
Oh, no, I just like reduced fat Cheez-Its better.
Yeah.
In the hierarchy.
Oh, really interesting. Like a Diet Coke situation.
Well,
yeah,
I just like the reduced fat ones because you don't get any of the weird cheesy residue on your finger. They're a little drier, and so that's just why I like them. It's not the fat content that I'm here for. It's just the experience it gives me.
Sure.
And we've really learned that usually when it says reduce fat, it means higher sugar.
Yeah.
So obviously Jamie's all in about it.
Yeah.
Okay, Cheez-Its. That's a great snack of the week.
That is a great snack of the week.
Fal, what's your snack of the week?
Mine's kind of different, but it's my snack of the week. Mine is dried cranberries.
Wow. Healthy.com over here.
Yeah. Dried cranberries, put them in that kale salad. Delicious. Eat them just by itself. Just a little snack. Pop them in. Also delicious. I actually paired them with pistachios the other day. I did like a little handful of pistachios, a little handful of dried cranberries. Delicious. So yeah, that's my snack of the week.
I love that.
Tyson, what are your thoughts on cranberries?
Are you pro
I
or
like
con?
cranberries. I'm pro cranberry. I like berries in general. I think raspberries are one of my favorite foods. So I love raspberries.
That's a really good one. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, what's your snack of the week?
Okay, my snack of the week, I can't remember if I've done this before, so here we are.
If you say water again,
no,
I swear.
I promise. My snack of the week is Trader Joe's protein peanut butter granola.
I don't remember this.
Good.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure. I remember I told someone about it when I purchased it, but I didn't remember if what I told was the microphone and everyone's already heard.
Sure.
So it's just like any other like kind of clusters of granola, but it's peanut butter and then all of the granola mixed in, but it also has pea protein in it. So it's like a great snack, but you've also upped your protein intake for the day.
Now, is it like the peanut butter part? Is it like it's sticking all the granola together because there's peanut butter, or like little peanut butter chips?
It's like a peanut butter powders mixed into the granola because it's not gooey like peanut butter. It just tastes like peanut butter. So it's probably like not PB2, but it's probably something more of that vein where it's the peanut butter essence.
Yep.
But not the texture.
Yep. I love it. I love it. Well, great snacks of the week.
Well, Tyson, thank you
so much.
For those who have never heard of Tyson before, you can go find his music on Spotify or wherever you listen to music. Mm-hmm. He has a new book out called Where the Waves Turn Back. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I said it very confidently, and then as it came out, I was having am I having a seizure? Did I say that correctly? Does my
I heard you starting to I could sense you like really second guessing yourself about halfway through it.
I can see the cover. I have it at my house, and as I said it, I was like, ugh.
Oh no.
Anything else? Tell us, what's your band name that you've also just started?
Oh yeah, I started a band called Telephone Friends.
Okay, so check out that.
That's very fun. Yep.
I think what sounds like a great night, Friday night, get a little Telephone Friends or Tyson on my Alexa playing in the living room. I got a little tiki drink in my hand and I'm reading my book by Tyson.
Honestly, if that's the world I've created for anyone, I've succeeded.
Yes.
You for sure have. For
you have
sure have.
created it. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you for being a snack professional when it comes to tiki. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge.
Yeah, you brought more knowledge than I think anyone's ever brought to this pod before.
It's true. It's true. We appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited to have all of these new snack-based fans.
Yes, exactly. Everyone.
Everyone.
Go be fans of Tyson. He's the best.
He is.